So I have an update on an FAFO that I brought you guys a few weeks ago that I'd say you're not going to believe, but you're going to believe it. Because what it really does is it reaffirms everything we've been saying about these people since day one. You guys remember the Ericson family, right? Kasper Ericson, Savannah Ericson, and their 5 children. Well, Kasper Ericson came here years ago from Denmark on a student visa. During that time, he met Savannah Ericson. They started dating. At some point, he went back home, then came back here, married Savannah Ericson, and they had 5 kids. 15 years ago, Kasper Ericson forgot to finish some paperwork for his legal status here in America. So fast forward 15 years later, he tells his wife, hey, I'm going to make an appointment, go and get this all checked out, make sure I'm all good, and then I'll come back and we'll go on vacation or whatever these people do, right? He goes to his immigration appointment. While he's there, he is detained. He's thrown in a detention center in Louisiana. Savannah Ericson didn't hear from him for 24 to 48 hours. Then she finds out he's detained in this detention center. And oh, did I forget to tell you, they're huge Trump supporters. You go to their Facebook, their Instagram, their X, they bash Democrats all the time. They consider themselves Christian conservative Republicans who support Donald Trump and the Second Amendment, and they bash Kamala Harris and all this, and they are all for Donald Trump's immigration stuff, right? So when I brought you that story, I said, who the hell cares? He is getting exactly what his wife voted for. They stood around, heard Donald Trump saying mass deportations now. They were cheering that shit on, probably sat in their living room with their 5 kids and watched brown people being detained and cheered that shit on. And now Kasper is sitting in a detention center. And I said, and most of you said, who gives a damn? We don't care about them. And even after hearing the story that his wife, who has no job skill, was a stay-at-home mom who homeschooled their kids or whatever, now she's struggling because her husband, who was the breadwinner, is sitting in a detention center. So her friends and family members set up a GoFundMe account for her and all that. And they were all just so upset that this was happening to that family. Every single one of them, once they caught wind of people like myself making videos and saying they're getting what they voted for, who the hell cares? They were all mad. They were like, how can you guys say this? How can you not have empathy for them? And we're like, have empathy for them? They voted for this shit. Kasper should have freaking turned around and handcuffed himself for the ICE agents because this is what he wanted. This is exactly what he wanted. And then I find out in the comments that many of these people who are friends with them were saying things like, oh, well, this was supposed to be for all the people who don't speak Spanish in our country and they should be gone, but not Kasper. So they were being racist while this guy is being detained. Here's the freaking update for you guys. These people were recently interviewed. Kasper and Savannah, both interviewed, right? Again, Kasper is sitting still 2 months later in a detention center, waiting to be, processed and deported, right? His wife is at home trying to figure out how to feed their children right now. All because he voted for a man who used his mass deportation stuff to have him detained and now be sitting, waiting to be processed and deported. They were asked, do you guys still support Donald Trump? Guess what they said? They do. They still support Donald Trump. They're not happy that Kasper's sitting in a detention center, but they still support him. They support his mass deportations because they do believe that people who are brown and speak Spanish should be out of the country. You see, Kasper passes as an American blonde-haired, blue-eyed white person, right? His wife is blonde-haired and blue-eyed. His kids are all blonde-haired and blue-eyed. They thought this shit wouldn't happen to them because they're racist white people who only wanted to see it happen to brown people. So Kasper is in a detention center while his wife and children could be starving. And he's like, yeah, I still support the guy. And his wife, who is probably starving, trying to figure out how to feed her 5 children, is also saying, I still support the guy. And people were really asking me, why am I being so just mean-spirited to these people? Why am I so apathetic to these people? I don't give a damn. I don't care. I absolutely hope they freaking deport his ass. I hope he ends up back in Denmark wondering how he's ever going to see his wife and his 5 children. I hope his wife at some point just has to find a way to sell everything they own just to get herself and their 5 kids to Denmark to be with their dad. I do not care about these people. If this guy gets out of that detention center and gets to come home, he is still a racist who hates brown people, who wants to see these people being deported. Why the hell would I care about them? I laugh every single time I think about him sitting in a detention center with a bunch of brown people speaking Spanish while he's pissed off that he has to be in there with them. I hope they're treating him like shit. I hope he's cold as hell every single night before he goes to bed. I don't care. I mean, and I'm telling you guys right now, there are things that I hope on him that I can't even say on this freaking channel. But just understand, I hate these people. These are the worst people in the freaking world. I don't care that their friends are out there crying because, oh, their dad isn't. I don't give a damn. They voted for this. He's getting what he voted for. And they wish the worst for people who are just good people trying to live their lives. They wish the worst for them, so I wish the same for these people. My goodness, the guy is sitting in a freaking detention center and he's still saying, I support Donald Trump. That is what a cult is. That is what white supremacy is. That is what being such a racist is, that even when you are down, you still think brown people are still beneath you. Fuck these people. I hate them. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.